Welcome to Deepnight Revelation. We're going to be picking up where we left off last week. These guys um, took one of the scouts out, and they have jumped two parsec jumps. Basically, they're scouting ahead while the repairs on the Soleimani ships continue. Um, they had initially planned on being on Admonson Point for about 3 months, and good news came in from their engineering crews that it's looking like it's going to be roughly a month and a half to 2 months. Um, Things are going well. And so while they are working on those, these guys have jumped ahead to the next rendezvous point that the Soleimani had already planned out. And the problem is the Soleimani and really even Deep Night Revelation at that kind of range, they're still questioning whether or not there is actually a fuel source there, and so these guys have jumped ahead to find that. And at the end of their second jump, they came out into a system that does indeed have a gas giant, but doesn't have, it does have a gas giant, right? Right. I'll check something. Yes, it does. It does have a gas giant. Okay.
Yeah, you said it did last week.
Yeah.
I was really hoping it would.
Yes. There is a gas giant, but they did also pick up an old style SOS repeating message, and they found a ship that is pinging a IFF, and it is named. It's a strange name. It's in all capital letters, and it is called the TANMIS. And they have radioed the ship. They have gotten no response from the TANMIS. But it is powered up, but it appears to be in a standby state. And so that's where we left off. These guys were going to get a little closer and take a peek with their sensor package on the Scout and see what they can see. Before we get started, if you are a player of either Old School Essentials or Castles and Crusades, there is a sale for the newest Braunhaven books going on. The Braunhaven Player's Guide, which is the entire campaign setting of the entire world. It is designed for Castles and Crusades, but is easily transferable to any other system in the old school genre. There is also the adventures, the Werewolves of Lendon and Town on the Edge of Shadow, and those are both in Castles and Crusades edition and in OSE edition. So no matter which of those games that you're playing, there is something there for you. Those are on sale for 33% off right now over on Drive-Thru RPG. All right, so Pappy brings you guys in a little bit closer. Let me pull up the Deep Night Scout. I should redo this. It's a little bit small and I'm getting old. Let's see here. So you have advanced sensors, so that's going to be a +2 to any sensor checks. You've got a life scanner analysis suite and a deep penetration scanner. So all three of those are useful. So any electronic sensors checks that you want to make are going to be at a +2. Whoever wants to do that.
Yeah, let's do that. Sensor, boom, +2.
Wow. Okay. So yes, you kind of move up along this thing. With a 14, you get a plethora of information. First being that you get kind of a general layout of the ship as far as capability. So this is what you see. It is pinging as the TANMIS. It is a Tenzig-class transport / utility vessel. I mean, like I said, when you first saw this thing, you've never seen this configuration of ship or this class. but looking at it, you know what this ship is. I mean, you've seen a million of these things in different configurations. I mean, this one's 600 tons, but I mean, essentially it does the same. It's configured to do the same job that an Empress Morava or a um, Beowulf class. I mean, they all do essentially the same thing.
Only jump one though. I mean,
Yes,
that's an issue.
and
We
it's
must have
yeah, it's
must have
way out here.
must have misjumped. Yeah, let's radio the ship. See if we can't bring somebody up.
So yeah, there is still no response to comms, but your deep penetration scanner uh, gives you an overall view of what the interior of this thing looks like. You've got the bridge up here, of course. It has it has two turrets on it, but it is configured for a total of uh, six turrets. There are three on the top that are they're not they don't the space doesn't have any actual turreted weapons installed, and there's a space on the bottom that is also empty. But there are two on either side, port and starboard turrets. Now, as far as the life scanners, you're not detecting that there's any. I mean, looking through this thing with your deep penetration scanner, you're not seeing anything that would no configuration that would appear to be like a low berth or anything like that. But you are detecting that there are some um, low level what could be life signs in the med bay and in some of the staterooms. You're also detecting that the cargo hold is not particularly full. I mean,
Is there
there's some stuff
is
in there, but it's not loaded like you would
is
expect.
is there power? Because I mean, obviously we're getting a distress signal, but are there signs that other signs of power going on?
There are the EM signature is reading that there is power. It seems that it is in a low state, like it is in a standby mode, and you're reading that that life support levels are minimal right now.
Okay,
So, what would you
well
guys like to do?
let's go. Let's go, Doc. I guess.
When we say that the life support's low, does that mean we need to go in a suit?
Yeah,
Because a mech
we're
suit would be difficult
you're
to maneuver inside this thing.
we're gonna want to go in a suit anyway. I mean,
So,
we're going into a possibly hostile ship.
so you're according to what your scanners are reading is that life support systems are minimal and grav plating is off. It's like it's been put into a power conservation.
I mean,
Aside from that, you're not seeing any visible damage to the ship. You're
there
seeing
may be
some laser scoring, but aside from that, you're not. There's nothing that from at least from the outside that appears that it would be um, anything that would cripple a ship that like this.
they may be in low berths with the power saver mode on for everything else.
Okay, so Pappy makes that look easy. He brings the ship in, and where is I guess it? Yep, 4 is the airlock. It is all the way over here. Now these are going to be probably really big. No, that's not actually as bad as I thought it was
How did I get left all by myself on this ship?
Right? Yes. There we go. I'm going to just a bit. There we go. That's better. So Pappy docks, and your airlock opens. Bless you. Their airlock, of course, is closed. This can be opened a couple of different ways. I mean, you can ask, you can use your ship's computer, of course, to ask nicely to unlock the door. That would be a
We definitely want to close our airlock first before trying to open theirs.
okay. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Yeah, you are TL15. They are not TL15.
We could try to hack it. I mean, the difficulty is, I think, like 14, but the tech level difference, I think, helps.
Yeah, so this is like a tech level 11 ship, which is actually pretty good. This is one of the higher tech levels that you've seen for ships that are out here. Most of the time, if you have run into other species, usually they're sitting right around tech level 9 to 10. I think you ran into a couple of tech level 12 ships in the Great Republic, but in the Commonwealth, but they weren't. They were bare minimum at tech level 12. So this is tech level 11, and just now that you've gotten close and you can see this airlock, and as you were coming in looking at this thing, this ship almost looks like it was put together, possibly from scavenged parts. Like you're seeing a lot of stuff that is now that you got a closer look at it, a lot of it seems to be mismatched. I mean, it looks like it all works together, but it's there's different colored pieces. There's
All right. So that's telling me
designs.
this is possibly pirated, salvage, and we should maybe be on the lookout. This could be a trap.
So yeah, I mean, if you want to unlock the door, it would be an electronics computers check. You get a +4 to that if you want to use the Deepnight Scouts computers to knock. Whoever wants to make that,
Okay.
do so.
You said +4?
Yep, electronics computers plus intellect or education, and you get a +4 to that for the difference in tech level. Yeah. So
No problem.
you go ahead and have Desinex 2 knock on the door, and the airlock opens, leading you into a fairly typical. Actually, this is a fairly good-sized airlock. This is what, 4 square? Yeah, 4 squares. That's a good-sized airlock.
You bring a cargo in, probably.
Yeah, and I mean the both of you can make a recon plus intellect. Noel got it, and Sarda got it. So the instrumentation and panels on the inside, the outside, of course, was essentially just a numeric keypad and a very basic screen. But now that you've gotten inside, there is, of course, a console inside the airlock that is essentially telling you what the conditions are on either side, right? The language that you're reading it in, it appears to be Oldarth or Oldarth language. So this is clearly it's like English, but old English. And when you're reading these screens, it looks like more than a bit of nonsense. Almost
We
like
need our space wizard.
almost like it's telling you like some weird story. Um, Either one of you, well, you have the capability with um, the universal translation unit. Um, so you can make a intellect +4 check. That'll get it. Holy shit. Okay. Jesus, Sarda's just knocking him out today. So when
My
you
+0 modifier on intellect.
that helped a lot, right? So looking this over, both of you tend to recognize it a little bit. Not just because it's Oldarth, but also because you've heard this language spoken before. And you heard it, occasionally you heard it in the Freeport back in the Commonwealth, or that Freeport that was kind of selling to everybody back in the far side of nowhere. And the language was actually referred to as Kenvab. And it is kind of a trader type of language, but it's at least there it was not meant for everybody to understand it. It's kind of like thieves' cant, where they might be saying one thing that to most people it will sound like uh, you know they're talking about the weather, when in reality they're talking about the current price of grain on the market, um, or which direction that's going. And so all of this ship, everything on this console is in Kenvab, and your translation unit it takes it, you know, 2 minutes, and it is able to translate this language. It's not a complicated language, but evidently, this entire ship is programmed in that trade language. And it's reading. This console is basically reading that on the inside of the ship, and it is specifically stating that this was set purposely, is that the environmental controls are set to minimum levels, and that grav plating has been disabled in order to conserve power.
Yeah, I assume that if they were desperate, they maybe threw themselves into low berths and shut off all other power.
Now, one of the things that you would have seen with your so one of the things that you would have seen with your deep penetration scanner is number 12 area. So with your deep penetration scanner, you can probably tell. You've seen this kind of thing before, but this is a modular area, essentially allowing this area to be converted in a dry dock. You know, within a couple of days, that they can place whatever they really want in there. It could be extra cargo space. It could be weapons. It could be passenger accommodations. All sorts of stuff. In this configuration, this ship, and it looks like this is pretty much a standard configuration right now. This area is being used for cargo, and one side of it, of course, the entire side on both decks opens up, so it makes for a very convenient cargo space. Of course, you've also got the main cargo hold of number 11, and they've got a cargo crane and all of that. This isn't actually a bad ship. Too bad about the jump one, but yeah. Where do you guys want to go?
We're coming in through this one.
You're coming in through right here. This is the airlock.
Oh, that airlock. Oh, okay, cool.
These are empty turrets.
I gotcha.
I would think we'd want to, if we've identified a medical bay, it seems like that's one of the first places we should check.
Yeah, it looked like there was a med bay right here, right next to
Well,
the airlock, which is confusing.
yeah, just to play it completely safe, I will do a life scan. And so that DC is 4.
So yes, you detect.
I would imagine if something is in low berth, it wouldn't detect as anything.
You don't detect anything. Well, even in a low berth, they'll detect. But you, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You do detect that there are 7 life signs. There are 2 of them in the med bay. One,
Okay.
So 6 of those life signs seem to be, and the rest are, of course, scattered in here. Those are bulk accommodations. 8 is staterooms. So they're over in the staterooms area. The rest of
Okay.
them, but 2 of them are in here, and so 6 of them appear to be kind of a you would they are alive, but you are detecting that they are asleep.
Got it. Okay.
One of them is in here and appears to be awake.
Okay.
And that one that is tracking for you is in the med bay that's awake.
All right. Let's go check there first. Then I'll try to, I guess, walk.
So how are you guys? What's Sarda
Oh
wearing
yeah.
and what's he carrying?
I will have my vac suit on, recording, and I think I'm going to do my usual. I'll have the Gauss pistol and stunner.
Okay.
Yeah. And frankly, I probably would have a flame rifle over my shoulder too.
Maybe, yeah, attached to that bag tank. What about Mel?
I want to say my hostile environment suit, but I don't know
Sure.
if it's okay.
I
I
mean,
don't know how
yeah.
overly large that is.
It's so I don't know their picture. I'm gonna go by their picture. Um,
It's not as bad as the one I just learned how to wear.
so I mean their picture makes the hostile environment suit look pretty lithe. I mean, it's
Yeah.
obviously got much heavier armor plating and whatnot on it. And the other benefit of the hostile environment suit, and this kind of came this came up oddly enough in my Wednesday night game with a bunch of sword worlders. The hostile environment suit has a self decontamination suite in it, and so if there's an emergency situation and you need, this is especially true if like you run into like acid or something like that, but in any situation, if there is an emergency situation where you need to decontaminate before entering something or entering a ship or an area or something like that, this thing can do that. And it's just got little jets all over it that it will essentially cleanse itself, and with the idea being that once you get into an airlock where you can do a full decontamination, that you will, but this can do emergency decon on the fly. I would imagine that by this point, you guys have probably, I mean, I'm not even going to ask if you did this. You probably would have modified it so that there's also little UV lights. So if you hit self decontamination, you just kind of light up purple for a second, and there's this little fog around you as it decontaminates. But yeah, you can wear the HEV. What about weaponry?
Well, I'm gonna carry my Gauss submachine gun, including with heap rounds, just in case I need to burn something up.
Oh Jesus! You're gonna go heap rounds on the inside of a ship. Okay. Okay.
I won't use it in close quarters combat, but in room 12, I feel comfortable fucking letting off a few rounds.
Well, yeah. Um,
'Cause
I
I don't have a flamer like Sardis got, so
right.
I'm paranoid about fungus.
Yeah.
so am I.
Yeah. It's
Burn
so
them and explode them.
this
That's my goal.
the entire length of this game has been like what 3 years now? 2 years? I think it's like 3. Um, yeah, it's been a lot longer than it feels at times. But from like day one, the second that they encountered the fungus, these guys have been fucking paranoid. And like everybody that's been in this campaign been overly paranoid about the fungus the entire time. Like, check your corners. That's where the fungus will get you. Um. So okay. So who's stepping out into this hall first? There's a. It looks like.
I'm
This is
trying
an
to figure out how.
interesting design. So there's a regular door here, but there is a iris valve into medbay. So medbay is a secure section.
Yeah, so I guess I'll go this iris valve.
Okay. It is closed. It's not locked though.
I'll knock on it.
Okay.
Hello.
Okay, so you knock on it, and the comm panel comes alive on the door, and this guy starts kind of panicking, almost rambling off, saying, "You already took everything. You don't need to take anything more. We don't have anything else to give you. I mean, you could take the ship, but can you
We're
please leave us
responding.
somewhere?"
We're responding to a distress signal. We're here to provide assistance.
He says, uh,
This is
"Okay."
Commander Sarda Waylander of the Deepnight Revelation.
He kind of pauses for a second. He goes, "Okay, I'm gonna trust you." And the iris valve opens, and there's this guy wearing rather dirty, spacers overalls, and one arm or one sleeve on his left sleeve has been torn off, and his arm is bandaged up. Looks like probably a gunshot wound, and you see another guy that is laying down on one of these beds, or one of the med table beds, and he says, he sees you guys the way you're equipped, and he kind of holds up his hands. And the other thing, when the iris valve door opens, there is a gush of not a vacuum, but a breeze of fresh air comes out, and your sensors on your HUD relate that the interior of the medbay is fully pressurized, and the grav plates are on in here.
That makes sense. Yeah. Does he need medical attention?
He's kind of stitched himself up, and from anybody who wants, you can make a medic plus intellect or education check, and if you want to use your med kit to scan him, you can. That's going to give you a +3 to it.
Okay. You said +3?
Yep.
Yeah. It's holy shit. That crushed it.
You're like, everything.
That might be the highest I've ever rolled.
Wow,
yeah, it's perfect.
Yes, you guys. Wow, you've been shot. It's really too bad about your prostate, though. Yeah. I mean, you guys both pull out your med scanners and scan this guy, and he's kind of his eyes get wide, and he's still got his hands up, and you guys scan him. He has a bullet in his left arm, and he's got a number of abrasions, and he is wearing. You kind of can make it out. There is an insignia on his jumpsuit that lists him as an engineer. And he says, that's the captain over there on the med bed. He goes, we got hit by pirates. He goes, it's not uncommon out here, but we got hit. They took most of the valuable cargo. I haven't even really gone through to take stock of anything else, but we were hit with some kind of EMP, and so the jump drive hasn't worked since, and so we just kind of we weren't sure
Well,
what to do.
let's get you out of here as quickly as possible because your ship is probably being used as bait, and so that means our ship's in jeopardy. There's a few more crew members here, I take it.
He says, "Yeah, yeah." He says, "Hold on, I can wake up the captain." And so he goes over and he grabs a hypo and
And,
sticks it to the captain's neck and injects him with a stem. And after a few minutes, the captain kind of groggily gets up and he says, "God damn it, I hate those stems." It's like first you knock me out and then you wake me up and it feels like my teeth are vibrating. And the captain finally kind of opens his eyes and looks at you guys and he goes, "Who the hell are you?"
uh, Commander Sarda Waylander of the Deepnight Revelation. We were on a scout ship that was checking the system for viable gas fuel and came upon your distress signal. We thought we would help you guys out.
That is excellent news. He goes, "Yeah, stupid pirates." He says, and he says something interesting. He says something about, he says, there are a number of he says, there are a number of those primitives throughout the system. And he goes, somehow they make their ships work, but they're always after more tech. He goes, luckily, this is the first time we've ever run into them, and it seems like every year they get smaller and smaller, and we just rolled poorly on this one, and
Well,
they got
we
us.
need, we need to hurry because I'm afraid that your ship may be maybe bait. Uh, there's a possibility that they will come back and hit our ship. So I don't want to linger here as long as possible. I want to linger here as shortly as possible.
He says, absolutely, absolutely. He says, um, me and Jones will go and wake up the rest of the crew. He says, if you're new to the area, he says, I don't. He goes, you're not like the first. He goes, there's been some other cases of newcomers. He goes, go to the bridge and download our astrogation charts, and it'll tell you where you can take us.
Excellent.
So
Thank you.
he
I'm assuming the shuttle we took over here, or we didn't drive all the way over here with the actual Deep Night, did we?
no,
No, we're the
you
scout
just
ship.
took the scout ship.
And I'm assuming we have someone piloting,
Yes, Pappy,
an AFK Pappy.
an AFK
And we,
Pappy.
Tell him
and,
to arm up because we might have company.
right.
Mm. Okay, yeah, he registers that and grabs probably his shotgun and whatever sidearm he's got.
I meant the ship's cannons, but
Oh, that too.
personal
Yeah,
effort is also good.
that too. In fact,
And I'm going to go in here and try to figure out how to download as much as possible from this computer.
okay. Wanted. Here she is. I would guess that I would guess that the Deep Night Scout probably has fire control. Probably fire control 1. So one of those turrets can be operated. Um, the computer can operate one of those turrets with a +1 to its attack. And so yeah, he arms one of the triple turrets. Probably the one with the sandcaster, just in case, because it makes for a great anti-personnel shotgun. or as we
Yeah,
like
as
to
long
call
as
them in Elite, glitter shitters.
as long as they're close by.
Right. Yeah, as long as they're
And
close by.
I know Will's taking the astrogation charts, but
I want everything I can get off that computer, frankly.
I, I I'm assuming there's some sort of terminal in the med bay. I want to pull what med stuff they've got.
Sure. So Sarda, you can make a. I guess in this case, it's just going to be an electronics computers. Your choice, either astrogation plus intellect or education, or electronics computers plus intellect or education. And Mel, you can make your choice, either medic plus intellect or education, or you can make an electronics computers plus intellect or education.
I got a 10.
Excellent. So you pull
I
up.
think computers is the better role.
Sure. Okay. So, Sarda, you kind of pull up a map of this subsector, which oddly is listed in here as the Kenvab subsector, which seems a little strange to you, considering that Kenvab, as far as you know, is a trade language, but they've named their entire subsector here. You are currently here. There is not a whole lot here. There is a main world and a gas giant. Specifically,
Well, this thing definitely misjumped to get here.
yeah. Well, yeah. You'll learn about that. But this system, in addition to a small gas giant, it has a world that's about rocky terrestrial world that's about the size of Mars, 6,400 kilometers in diameter. It has no atmosphere. Only 6 to 15% water, so it's considered a dry world. And zeros all across the board on everything else. So
It is a rock.
it is a rock. And most of the water on that planet would be frozen. But for what you're seeing is, and so you get a little bit of information. In the addition of this download, you learn what the ship's name TANMIS is. It is an acronym for "There Ain't No Money in Salvage," and it is
They're clearly putting it all into the ship.
right. And they are registered as a freelance salvage and transport crew,
Yes,
based out of a
pirate.
location called Rowdlands Port.
Isn't that another phrase for pirate?
Yeah, it's a pirate.
Well, I mean,
They swoop in after the pirates attack.
tomato, tomato.
They take what the pirates don't leave. What the pirates leave.
It's all legitimate salvage. But you're also seeing that according to the records, this is, as was already previously stated when you were doing scanning, this comes up as a Torlex-class transport/utility vessel, and it was built. The Torlex class is built under contract, exclusive contract at Rowdlands Port. This seems to be a fairly standard design, um, but from what you're seeing about Rowdland Port, the pretty much the average tech level at Rowdland is tech level 9, but they have some tech level 11 stuff. And according to these records, is that this is a ship that it goes out and it seeks salvage, and they pull it together and they take back whatever they can to Rowdlands Port, sell it to their contact, who is somebody named Trimden Rayner, and they basically, he has this contract to build these Torlex class ships, and they're basically put together out of anything that can be pieced together or backward engineered. And so this seems to be a fairly standard class, from what you're reading. As far as Mel, what kind of stuff are you looking for in their med bay?
Everything's all about the fungus. Anything.
Nothing about the fungus, but you do pull up some information on there appears to be another humanoid life form that is in the region, and um, basically it is listed as um, well, it doesn't say that they are lesser than, but um, the medical terminology that you're reading almost reads like these are subhumans. But an image comes up that you are familiar with, and the image comes up, and these guys look like this. They're furbolgs. You have a couple of these guys on your crew that they picked up way back.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
Yes, very long time ago.
Like those guys have been on the ship for like 6+ years.
Right. Yeah, one of them. The when they first picked up one of the furbolgs, they found him on a planet in a primitive, kind of fort, wooden fort camp, and the guy that came along with them specifically, and a couple of others, but the one that was really the main character of that was a bronzesmith.
Right.
So
Well, cool. We'll be able to bring him, check in with him, see what he's been up to, and
right.
maybe get some advice from him and help from him.
But as far as so you pick up that information, pretty much most of the stuff that you find in this med bay is about tech level 9. There's nothing in here that is above tech level 9. This would be a med bay like you would expect. If they're based out of Radlin Port, and Radlin Port's average tech level is 9, that goes up to tech level 11 for some of the rare stuff, and these guys are a salvage crew, they're gonna buy the cheapest stuff that they possibly can, right? They're trying to stretch their dollar as far as it'll go, or their credit, or whatever. And in this case, everything in here is tech level 9. Now, tech level 9's no slouch. I mean, they've got salves for laser burns and bullet wounds and things like that, and of course they've got stitching material and stuff like that. But the stuff that you have in your med kit is probably, in a lot of ways, vastly better than the equipment that they have fully stocked in their med bay. In your opinion?
Okay.
The other thing that Sarda you find out with that computer check is you kind of see you're able to download their logs, and from everything that you're reading in their logs, the crew of the TANMIS are pretty much legit. They really are salvagers. They're not pirates. They were hit by these primitives, and you kind of confer with Mel, and you are able to determine that these primitives that they're talking about are furbolgs. And evidently these furbolgs are spacefaring, but from what you're reading in their logs and in some of the database, the library database here, is that they may have regressed at some point, um, because they barely know how to operate and keep their ships running. So they're constantly looking for new stuff, and that appears to be what had happened here. And according to the logs, everything that was in the cargo hold on this ship was already salvage, and they took it all. Well, probably a good 75% of it, and left with it. And so, make a make a recon plus intellect check.
Sure.
Hey, I'm gonna go grab a quick drink. Hold on a second.
Sure.
Yep. Oh, nice.
Very nice. So, looking through the logs, and you see a sensor contact, and this sensor contact is of this Furbolg ship that attacked them,
Right.
and you are seeing this ship very much shows like it was almost of droid construction.
Okay.
I mean, there's a couple of variances, but it looks, if you didn't know what to look for, you would swear that it was a droid ship.
Okay. Well, I mean, there aren't too many ship makers out here, I would imagine. So, yeah. All right.
Honestly, in my opinion, if you guys are going this far out, there's way too many people out here. But
Yeah.
but I mean,
like,
it's a role playing game.
It's an amazing coincidence. Everybody keeps having these jump malfunctions. It shoots them out this direction.
Right. The other thing that you see is that
I wasn't going to say anything.
Is that well, I mean, the same thing happened in Star Trek Voyager. I mean, every week they were running into a new alien race. I'm like, what the fuck? You guys are supposed to be out past the red line, you know? So the other thing that you learn is that both of these modular bays, number 12, were filled with collapsible fuel bladders. So this thing could basically make 3 jump ones.
Oh God, I know how that goes. The islands all over.
The islands, yes, that's basically how they were doing. They were making these 3 parsec jumps. Is that they had 2 jump bladders in here that are currently empty, as are their tanks.
Yeah.
It appears that they got hit while they were in the middle of or preparing to do wilderness refueling at the gas giant.
Gotcha. All right. Well, I just pretty much want to get off this ship and out of here as fast as possible in case.
Okay. So
Yeah.
so they all kind of meet with you guys back here at the airlock, and there are 2 engineers, and this one that has been acting as a medic. He kind of does double duty, and the other engineer is the chief engineer, and he is distraught with the captain saying, "We're not just going to leave her here." And the captain says, I think that it's a good idea that we leave her here. We can always come back. And he's like, and the engineer's like, but they're going to come back and strip her down to nothing. And the captain says, but we'll be alive.
You don't want to be there when they strip her down.
And the captain kind of pats him on the shoulder. He says, "Don't worry, we'll try to talk to Raynor, and we'll get a ship to come back here, and we'll collect her, and everything's going to be okay."
We're going to be in this. We're going to be in this system. Our mothership will be in this system shortly, and we can provide help then.
So they are when you say that, they're kind of interested, wanting to know where you're from, whatnot, as you guys, herd them through the airlock into your scout.
We've been on well, basically, we're herding them onto the airlock so that we can decontaminate everybody.
Yes, yeah, decontaminate everybody. Throughout the logs, you didn't find anything, either of you, in the med bay or in the logs of any kind of infection or.
I'm not taking any chances.
Right? Yeah.
And
protocol is protocol.
They could have space herpes and not even know it.
That's right. Pull up the holographic display of the jump, the trip we've been on, basically.
Okay. You're
it's been about 8 years.
Yeah, you're showing them, this holographic trip that you've been on for the past 8 years, and they're kind of wow, and they still, it's not clicking that your mothership, first of all, they have no concept of how big Deepnight actually is, because they haven't
Yeah,
seen
yeah.
it. And two,
That's
they're like, well, now wait a minute, you've been out jumping in this, and then one of the
oh
other ones like, no, they said they have a mothership, and I'm like, well, they can dock this because this is a 200-ton ship. That's got to be a large vessel, and
yeah.
they're kind of chattering back and forth about this, and the captain, while you're in the airlock getting decontaminated, the captain's like, is there a concern? Is there a reason why we're going through such an extensive decontamination?
We've the reason we're on this mission is that we have encountered a fungus that destroys all uh, biological life on a planet until it's completely destroyed the entire planet. And as a result, we have been a bit paranoid whenever entering and exiting ships. And so I'm sorry if this seems excessive, but once you're on this ship, we will not have to go through such an extensive decontamination process when we get to the mothership. Just a simple precaution based
He's,
on paranoia,
he says,
well-earned
well,
paranoia.
yeah, well earned paranoia. He says, well, I can completely understand that. Um, and so while you guys are actually on deck one down here, and you and 7 other crew members are crammed
Yeah,
into the into
got a
this
little
tiny little airlock. You guys,
projecting the hologram on the roof ceiling so we can all sort of
yes,
stare up at it.
just nuts to butts in this little 4 cube airlock, and um, as the black lights go over you and the whole bit, and uh, while you're doing that, you can actually kind of feel the little shudder in the grav plates that lets you know that Pappy is already pulled away from this ship, and
Excellent.
and and Pappy radios down to the airlock. And he says that he is doing a thrust 4 burn to do wilderness refueling at the gas giant. So he's set course
Sounds
for the gas giant.
sounds good. I'll be up to monitor the sensors to make sure that we're not being watched because that's where we'll be vulnerable is within that.
Yep, there's a reason why they call it the high guard position.
Yeah.
Somebody's always watching out for the one refueling. So, yeah, I mean, you guys get done with your decon. Um, started. You said you were going to go to the bridge and
Yeah.
possibly check sensors. Mel, what are you doing? I mean, this guy still has a bullet in his arm. It's up to you if you want to lay him out on a table and dig that out.
I'm sure my medkit has forceps.
Probably, yeah, and it's got the
Chrome.
yeah, and it's got the good drugs. So here, just take a couple of Percocet, chase it with this whiskey, you'll be fine.
I mean, they're techno level 11, so I'm thinking mercurochrome and hydrogen peroxide. That's the level we're talking.
Right? Yes. Yeah, go ahead and make a medic plus intellect or education check, and you get a +3 for your med kit.
Better than new.
Yeah. So yes, you dig this bullet out of his arm and stitch him back up, and he recovers just fine. And so, yeah, it takes you probably about 2 more days of passes through the gas giant for Pappy to refuel.
And welcome to Cinebinge and Anime. My name is Simone. This is George.
What?
This is where we watch some anime.
Sorry. You
Hey,
two.
that coming from my computer, I'm like looking at tabs. Like, where the hell is
No.
that?
Which tab is it?
I picked up my phone and it started a YouTube video. My buddies are screaming that they need a bard. They're playing Demio.
So yeah, Mel, you stitch him up. And extract that bullet. He's doing fine. There's a couple of other laser burns, but about 2 days of constant passes of refueling, and Pappy's ready to jump again. Who would? So let me bring that.
In the meantime, we'll have briefed them on what our current mission is and everything else.
Right, and so they
and,
are
and let them know that we would be happy to drop you off.
So kind of at this stage, you've been able to show them a little bit, probably not 100%, but you've shown them, at least what you're talking about when you say a mothership, and they at 75,000 tons, they're like, no, it can't be that big. They're like, that's no way. They're not even really sure that a ship that size could actually jump without breaking its back.
What is a 400 man complement?
500,
Or
yeah, 500,
500, yeah,
500 crew.
crew. And I'll be happy to explain the jump technology stuff to them.
Right? The engineers like totally listening in on that.
Jump engineering 4, so
yeah,
happy.
You're like a professor in jump physics.
So I can explain how we maintain a bubble that can support a ship that big and everything else.
Yeah, so the two engineers are like listening in, like raptly, intent on every word that you're saying about the jump drives. So, yeah, the captain basically just tells you guys that if you set course for Radlin Port, that he's sure that that we can. He's sure that he can probably talk Rayner into some kind of reward for rescuing the crew. He's like, we don't technically work for him. We are freelance scavengers, but we have a good rapport with him, and we're one of his better salvage teams. So I'm sure that we can manage something.
Yeah, I mean, we're happy to get good introductions. We're heading through, and we'll possibly be returning. And it's always good to know who to trust and who to work with along the way.
So he tells you that this system here is a mining belt. There's no real main world here. You from Charted Space, you would recognize a system like this. It's not that uncommon. Bowman is a system like that in the Spinward Marches.
With belters.
Yeah, it's just all belters. There is a refueling station there, and there's a number of large asteroids there that have stations on them for refueling, and there's a gas giant there. So his recommendation, if the ship can jump that far, and you can, is to stop here, refuel. So that would be 2 jumps, and then it's just another, for you guys, 1 jump to Radlin's Port.
Right. And so we're scouting this, right? Because the rest of our ship is back still on planet.
Yeah, it's somewhere way off in this direction.
I just want to make sure that
it's about 4 parsecs back behind you.
Right. I don't know if they're waiting for us to return to tell them it's safe to jump, or
That's true. They kind of are waiting for that. So
yeah.
I mean, that would be one option, is that these guys are going to tag along with you back to Advenson Point.
I think that's the play, rather than them worrying that we are stranded and they're screwed. So I think going back and letting them know that we can refuel in this system. We're going to have to be on the lookout. There are, there's possibly hostile ships with EMPs. So we'll need to be on high guard the whole time we're refueling. So, yeah, I think that's our best move.
So the captain tells you, he says, the Furbolgs, he says, I don't know much about their history. As you probably saw in the logs, the attacks from them have gotten, the raids from Furbolgs have gotten less and less over the last couple of years.
I guess that's good.
The captain tells you, he says, it's good. It's good for us because we don't get raided. But on the flip side, he says, I have a bad feeling that maybe their entire culture is abating, that they are on the outs. Every report that I've seen over the past 2 or 3 years, there seems to be less and less crew on their ships. Not enough for a ship of their size to be optimally run, and so he thinks that there's just less and less and less of them. And he says there also is some evidence that the Furbolgs appear there was some kind of civil war. They were fighting one another for a while. And he goes, I don't know exactly what the entire outcome of that was, but we're now kind of seeing that there are less of them.
Well, I guess that means you guys are lucky that they didn't think to enslave you.
Yeah, he said. Well, he says,
because if their society's slipping, kidnapping some people that have some tech knowledge is always a solution.
Look at most of the Trojan Reach.
Yeah.
That's a
those Ogden Raiders know. Those Ogden Raiders know what they're doing,
right? Yeah, they figured that shit out a long time ago. But yeah, I mean, he says honestly, enslaving people has never really seemed like that was an option that they had considered. He says it's very strange. It almost seems religious to them.
Cool. We've got a couple on our ship, but they're
not like these.
They are not devolved the way these seem to be.
So, who wants to make an astrogation plus intellect or education?
I think I'm decent at it, but I think that's you, Mal.
Yeah, two ranks plus education gives me a pretty good edge.
Yeah, damn. So you set course, and you guys can take. You can add 2 weeks to your study period.
Nice. Do some more 0G maneuvering as I work on my athletics dexterity.
Yeah, you guys are starting with new study periods, aren't you?
I am, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. So 2 weeks. I was going to say 4 weeks. No, that's not right. You went 4 parsecs in 2 jumps, so 2 weeks goes by, and you pop back into Point Admonson, and Deepnight Revelation, of course, is the only ship in orbit around the planet. These the other 3, the Soleimani ships are planet side at the camp down there, and you get somebody can make a electronics comms plus intellect or education check.
Go for it, man.
Comms, you said?
Yes. Excellent.
That's 3 higher than I can roll.
So
2 ranks comms,
and you can see that there are as you're coming in, you can the comms are there is a flurry of communications activity between Deepnight Revelation and the camp down below, and there are a number of support craft, ships, launches, and pinnaces that are making their way down to the surface. They're launching from Revelation down to the surface. And this comms traffic, apparently, they down on the surface, they were herding something, a creature, something that they're calling the Big Stomp.
Like T-Rexes, okay.
No.
Brontosauruses.
I thought I had this. Let me check my. I was going to show you a Big Stomp. Essentially, they were herding these things, and they decided that the best way to do that was to use the Soleimani grav platforms, the Outriders, and somebody had a mishap, and their plane went down. Let's see.
apologize to the people we rescued and say,
Our
these
crew are
guys,
idiots.
they've been in space for 8 years. So every once in a while we go down to a planet and they just get all happy. So
And the captain kind of like, yeah. He says, no, I get it. I'm completely aware.
So it sounds like they were fucking around with a giant creature, and one of the pilots crashed.
Maybe I didn't take a picture of him. That's stupid of me. Just there we go. At least so far, Roll20 is behaving. It was not doing that for me Wednesday night. I was getting quite frustrated.
What was it? What was it doing?
It wasn't doing the. No matter how many times I'd put people in the initiative stack, it wouldn't show them the initiative stack. I'm like, what the fuck is it doing?
All right, +5 large. I'm not sure what that means. I mean, how big is this
So
thing?
you get a +5 to hit because it's so big.
It's not as big though as I was thinking. I was thinking King Kong size.
Yeah, I mean, it's if you can hit a barn, you can shoot this thing.
So wait, we're gonna go hunt this, or
they were
strafe it from the air?
Well, they were hunting it, and evidently this thing is an herbivore, and
one of the grav platforms went down.
Yeah, it basically swung its tail and smacked one of the Outrider grav platforms, and it went down. And so Deepnight Revelation is sending a couple of launches with security crews and a pinnace outfitted with a med bay and a medical team. They're not sure of what the condition of the pilot is.
I think we just rendezvous with Deepnight.
Let them do their thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Drag 6, wounded and worn out.
Yeah, that's true.
Dudes into a hostile situation on an alien planet.
So the captain kind of comes up onto the bridge, and his mouth is just hanging open, like he can't. It's like he can't wrap his head around the size of Deepnight Revelation as Pappy just casually brings the scout into one of the hangars, and he's like looking at the inside of this hangar, and he can see that you've got other scouts that are hanging in docking cradles, and he's like, holy shit. Like, who? And he kind of just looks at you two and he goes, who the fuck are you guys? Like, really? You came all that way in this, like, to stop fungus?
We believe it's a life-ending.
He's like, yeah, I get that, but man, you guys are committed.
I think they're hoping to make some kind of. I don't know what the plan is money-wise. I have no idea how this company plans on making money. I'm just recording as much footage as possible.
So yeah, I mean that's a good question. So Deepnight Exploration LLC or LIC, Limited Imperial Company, is that's their whole thing is exploration, and so for the most part, they've been making their money on Imperial charters back in charted space, exploring the crossing the Great Rift back and forth, and doing exploration out there, which Sarda ran into when they ran into the first into Deep Night Endeavor. That was their first run in with the fungus. But and there were what two more of the Endeavor class ships out there. And so
Right.
that's basically their bread and butter. But with the discovery of the fungus both on Deep Night Endeavor and on the Alpha Moon, which was a refueling port, um, they because they have such a close relationship with the Third Imperium government and the Imperial Navy and really the Imperial Interstellar Scout Service. They brought this situation to the attention of the Admiralty, and it was kind of decided that well, you guys have already made your bed and or making your weekly paychecks going out and doing the exploration. It would kind of be you already know what you're doing, so why don't you go out and do this? And so that's when it was decided that they would sell them this Element class cruiser surplus that was going to be decommissioned. They pulled it out of mothballs rather than sending it to the wreckers, and and that's how we got here. That's where Deepnight Revelation went in and was refitted, and she's for the most part served pretty well. I mean, any ship's gonna have problems on a cruise this long without being put into dry dock for some
Yeah.
serious repairs. But
I mean, throw 500 people in a warehouse and tell them to live there for 8 years together.
right.
You're going to have some problems.
Right. Yeah. And so that's kind of how Deep Night is out here. The assumption, and you have a corporate executive aboard that he caused a couple of minor problems.
We do? Because now instantly Paul Reiser's in my head from fucking Aliens.
He was kind of like Paul Reiser's character early on. He had a couple. He tried to interject himself a couple of times, but there were a couple of run-ins. I believe the one was with Torovask, the droid that basically been sitting there, overtaken by the entity for 300,000 years. And after that event, the corporate exec kind of shut the hell up. But he is their representative of the company aboard, and then of course you have an imperial representative, and then you have the captain of the ship.
So likely what will happen is, should we succeed and start returning back, he's going to exert his authority and start really demanding a lot of stuff. But in the meantime, he sees this as sort of a military action.
Right. Well, and he after the event with Torvask, he kind of learned that he was kind of out of his element.
Right. But I'm saying that as we're returning successful, all of a sudden he's going to start probably wanting to exert some authority so that he can do some actual exploration type stuff on the way back. Now that the threat has been eliminated.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, the thing, I don't know.
He's probably been taking notes as we've been going along.
I mean, he's really, for the most part, can be considered like the ship's purser, but there's nothing out here to spend Imperial credits on. And so, really, yes, he's looking at ways of making money. Everything with him is going to be on a spreadsheet. He doesn't give a shit about exploration. He doesn't care about scientific discovery, but he does care about whether or not it's going to make him money.
And that company store, keep that company store running.
Right. And yes, and of course there's a ledger book of stuff that that will be deducted and et cetera, et cetera. But no matter what he does, I mean, theoretically speaking, when you guys come back from this mission, because you've been accruing these monthly paychecks the entire time, you're going to be rich. Even if there is deductions, you're going to be rich. Even after taxes, you're going to be filthy rich. So, and then of course there's also the promise of rank and entitlement, and there's going to be video deals and
all,
appearances and
all the copyright lawsuits.
Sarda's massive media library
yes,
from across the rift.
Yes,
It's just a million incoming copyright lawsuits.
yes. Sarda's going to start his own pirate bay once he gets back to charted space.
Yeah.
He's going to buy a moon and just fill it with servers.
That's right.
But yeah, so that's kind of their shtick, and that kind of leads to there being more or less the ship has kind of digressed into like three factions really. There's the corporate faction, there's the imperial faction, and then there's basically everybody else who is usually along the science angle or mission division, which you guys are in command of. They are, for the most part, either the science division is definitely all civilians, and the mission division is a smattering of ex scouts, ex Marines, ex Army, and they all have their own opinion on how they do things.
Intelligence, former Imperial intelligence officers.
There's probably more than one. Who knows? And 500 people, I would be shocked if there wasn't an Imperial intelligence op somewhere on this ship. I mean, shit, you know that there's a Zhodani, or was a Zhodani intelligence operative aboard. So,
Yeah.
So, yeah, these guys are just in awe. And, Pappy sets her down, and the deck crews come out and are immediately hooking up refueling. They are hosing the exterior of the ship down with their decontamination process, and these guys are just their minds are blown. And the captain's like, "Can we take a tour of this ship?"
Yeah, sure. Let's get you settled. We can go by the med bay real quick for anybody that needs to be cleaned up. We can get you guys bunks and I don't know, you probably want to take a shower, grab some food, and then we'll give you a tour.
Yeah, I mean, this is the mission pods, and you guys get these guys kind of bunked up, temporary quarters, and there's a med bay right here. There's more than a few common areas with mess halls and things of that nature.
Yeah, I'll basically delegate having somebody grab them uniform or grab them some clothing, spare clothing, get them set up so that they can shower, clean up. I'd probably want to go to my room, shower, clean up, and they'll basically meet them and then take them to the cafeteria to eat.
Sure, sure. Mel, he's going to give a tour and feed these guys. What are you doing? Going along or?
Yeah, I don't have a burning desire to do anything different than that, I guess, right now.
Check on Stompy does.
Yes.
Or, I don't know, start carving up Stompy for steaks. Did we kill him as we save those people?
So, both of you can make a... this is one that rarely comes up, but it kind of applies here. Go ahead and make a streetwise plus social check.
Sure.
This is not going to go well for me. Streetwise plus what?
Streetwise plus social.
Could have been worse.
That could have been worse, but both of you got it. So there is scuttlebutt. When you get into the cafeteria, there is some rumors flying around. Essentially, while you have been gone for the past 4 weeks, is that so if you remember crazy Commander Whalen, who was the commanding officer of the RSS Frank Wild, who was deposed by the political officer, et cetera, has not been reinstated as the commanding officer of Frank Wild. In all likelihood, his ship, assuming that repairs will be completed, has been borrowed by Captain Bruntain, and is currently the current scuttlebutt is that Bruntain will be reconnoitering a route to go back to charted space with the Frank Wild. And so this
they're changing. They're no longer going to be going along with us, or is
no,
it
they are. So the original plan was that, and if I'll look at this, look at this map again. So the original plan was that the RSS Frank Wild was going to go back and take any of your crew that wanted to go and take all of your data up to this point and any letters home that you wanted to send, etc. And it was going to start making the 8-year journey back to charted space on the rimward side of the rift, possibly crossing, but I mean, it's these ships also have a 4-jump range, so it could theoretically do a crossing of the rift the same way that you did and go back on the coreward side. But anyways, the RSS Frank Wild is going to go back home. The RSS Antherke is going to stay here on Point Admonson for a amount of time, and they're estimating that that you're going to, from here, you will be able to make it to Terminus Point in about 4 months. And so Antherke is planning on staying here at Point Admonson for the next 6 months. If you don't come back, or I'm sorry, they will stay here for the next 8 months. If you don't come back in that amount of time, they will then make the decision of whether to go forward and try to mount a rescue mission, because the assumption will be that something went terribly awry and that you need rescuing. Or they will make the decision to turn around and go back home if there has been some other kind of sign, like maybe you sent a scout ship back or something. And so the decision at that point will be made on whether to go and rescue you or head home. You guys will head on to Terminus Point, and the Leonard Hussey will journey with you to Terminus Point to conclude the mission and hopefully see this through, see a conclusion through to stopping the threat of the Deep Night entity fungus. So that's the ultimate plan. And so, unfortunately for Commander Whalen, he will not be back in command of the ship. And this is right now he is aboard Deepnight Revelation. He's being kind of monitored by your medical crews, with the idea that he's also been granted several planet-side liberties. The thought is that if he's out of the tin can that these smaller ships really are, and allowed to be monitored by your medical staff in a larger environment that is Deepnight Revelation, that can be helpful to his mental state, as well as allowing him to touch grass, literally, and so he's been making some headway there as far as his mental health is going, but he's aboard right now, and the rumors flying around is that he is kind of avoiding the other Soleimani crew members that have kind of integrated into the ship's crew, and really kind of keeping to himself. He seems embarrassed because he's been relieved at this point, permanently relieved of command, and the political officer, Lieutenant Carstairs, has been assigned to the Frank Wild as part of the reconnaissance expedition that will be making its way back to charted space. So he's kind of in a limbo state, and he's kind of embarrassed by it.
So who's going to take over his role then?
Probably Lieutenant Carstairs, the political officer.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought you said she was being recalled. I was thinking it was a different ship or something.
Yeah. So Captain Bruntain is the flag officer of these three ships. Bruntain is actually, she's in command of her ship, is the flagship, the Anther K, and so she has assigned Carstairs back in command of the Frank Wild, and has had the rumor is that there was a heart-to-heart between Bruntain and Carstairs where they came to an agreement that she wasn't going to be such a hard-ass taskmaster and basically go with a lighter touch on the crew. Because remember, when you found them, the crew were like, "No, fuck this. We're mutiny." They would rather mutiny than put up with her shit anymore. So,
right. So, not being a hard ass, which is, I think, wasn't she just making shitty decisions?
Well, yes and no. She was making, theoretically, she was making the correct decisions. She knew where to plot for the rendezvous points, but she wasn't telling the crew that. And so to the crew, it looked like she was just constantly doing random jumps trying to refine the rest of the fleet, and all in a bad jump drive that had missed jump twice. So her lack of interaction with the rest of the crew kind of led to this bad blood. And so Bruntain isn't in a position to give a political officer a dressing down, but there was a meeting of the minds, so to speak.
Yeah, basically reminded her that her ship needs to be in good shape.
Right, or you're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So Waylon, he's in the cafeteria. He's sitting all the way over in a corner by himself, away from everybody else.
Yeah, I'll go talk to him.
And he greets you as you come up, and he says, I heard you were away for a while.
Yeah, we wanted to make sure that the gas giant was where we were hoping it would be.
He says, and was it?
It was. We were able to refuel and come back.
And he kind of smacks the table. He says, I knew it. My science team knows what they're doing. They're the ones who plotted that route.
Well, it works. It looks like there were some hostile activity in the region. We were able to rescue 6 folks who were attacked by pirates. Their ship left floating after being initially looted, but it hadn't been completely stripped. So we're going to have to be careful when we do jump in. But yeah, it worked. So what are your plans for the future?
He says, well, he goes, and he kind of looks around with an embarrassed kind of look, and he goes, I imagine you probably already heard from everybody else. I've been relieved of command. And
I was court-martialed, kicked out of the Navy. It happens.
Yeah, shit happens, He goes, he kind of laughs at that, and he goes, right now, I don't know. I really, I'm not sure what my path is. I don't know. I don't really know what's even open to me. He says, Captain Bruntain has not been forthcoming about what my place in this mission is going to be moving forward.
Well, we're on a suicide mission, and I have found
that sounds great.
I have found that a lot of people cut you a lot of slack when you're on a suicide mission.
Wow, you should be a salesman.
Yeah. I'm not sure if
I thought we made this clear when we fucking were on his ship. Like, we're on a suicide
mission. You pretty much did, yeah. I mean,
we're kamikaze.
It's just every time you say it, it's like That's fantastic. Sign me up.
Well, I don't want to. I don't want to. The last thing I want is for somebody to sign up and then 6 weeks later go, "Wait, we're going to do what?"
Right, right.
Yeah, I want people to know right from the beginning this is ridiculously stupid and dangerous, and so, yeah. So it's like it, you. I don't know what the logistics of you leaving your crew would be. Some might call that mutiny, or I'm not sure how that would be resolved.
And he kind of
But
laughs. He says, "Oh, I'm sure Lieutenant Carstairs has a name for that.
yeah,
Treason,
well, yeah,
traitor."
we can talk about you being an official liaison to our ship, since we intend to return. You'd be able to return to your ship hypothetically then as well. So, I mean, there are, if you are interested in a future aboard our ship, we can try to make that work. Uh, if
He
not, I'm not
he's
sure how much I can help you.
he yeah. Go ahead and make a Go ahead and make a persuade or diplomat plus social check,
I think they're both the same.
and you can get a +2 for that. Or hell, go ahead and roll it with a boon.
Nice. Cancel that and click the little boon box.
Nice.
9 with boon.
So
That's what.
he for a few minutes he's almost speechless, and he finally says that if you can make that happen and give me a place aboard your vessel, I would be more than happy to take any position that you would give me. He says, we're already out here, and I want to be able to do my part. And he goes, and it's not just for having something to do, but he says this is a existential threat that really, he goes, I'm wanting to sign on with your crew out of patriotism for the Solomoni Confederation.
Well, you are welcome to do so, and I will go talk to Ms. Carstairs and see what we can't work out with her.
Excellent. Okay. So so you can, Lieutenant Carstairs, being a political officer, you can probably, for whoever wants to do this, can make an admin plus social check.
Sure.
Or actually, your choice, either admin plus social or admin plus intellect.
Social.
Well, I have admin, but it's obviously education
Jesus.
is going to be better for me. But
I only rolled a 4, but I got an 8.
Yeah, that is a success. So essentially, what you is, rather than just talking to her and trying to convince her, because she's not necessarily a bitch, but she is definitely by the book. You filled out the proper requisition forms for a crew transfer to move him to your ship, which really, on paper, removes the problem from her plate. It's no longer her issue if he's transferred under your command, and so she quickly rubber stamps that. And
tactical liaison.
Yeah, so you have brought on a Solomoni tactical liaison officer aboard Revelation, and so
I should make him.
Wasn't it bad to mix with these people with the Joe?
Yeah, I used to have him bunk with the Jodani, but not tell him.
Yeah. Well, and like I said, I mean, the Solomoni, I mean, of course they know that the Jodani consulate exists, but they have that big buffer of the Third Imperium, and
yeah.
And I mean, shit, there's the Third Imperium, there's the Sword Worlds. For the most part, there's the Aslan Herate. They are kind of insulated from the Jodani consulate, and I don't know that the Jodani consulate has really gone down that far as far as like intelligence gathering and whatnot, because most of their stuff is focused on
On their fronts.
yeah, they're
There were
keeping their eye on the Third Imperium, and they've done a lot in the Trojan Reach with the idea of flanking the Third Imperium. So yeah, I don't know that the Soleimani would really care too much about the Jordani. Now the Soleimani have a few concerns about psionics, but it's not as it's it's more of a personal dislike rather than hard coded laws against it. Some of their worlds have some laws against it, but for the for a political government wide situation, I mean they do
but
so much genetic research that of course psionics are a part of it.
yeah, no, I'm not too worried. I mean, it's probably gonna be the bug creatures and stuff like that that he's gonna have a harder time with.
Yes, yeah, the giant crabs and yeah.
Speaking of which, probably want to round up the couple of furbolgs that are on our board the ship just to brief them on what we discovered, that there appear to be folks related in the area, but that they seem to have devolved a bit.
So
Although,
in
although
that, go ahead and both of you can make a diplomat plus social check.
Although it seems like the furbolgs that we recruited, they were from a very low tech world to
They
begin with,
were.
right?
They
So,
were.
I mean, so it's gonna be harder to explain a higher tech version of furbolgs that are then degraded. To them, it's like this is all amazing.
Right? Yes. Yeah, you might be surprised. Go ahead. Both of you can make diplomat plus social checks. Okay, so both of you nailed it. So in Sarda and Mel talking to these furbolg, and I mean, there's not a lot of them. I mean, you probably pulled on like what, four?
I can only remember two. It was like the kid and
Yeah,
the
maybe it was only two. I mean,
the blacksmith and the kids.
yeah, there was only a couple on here. One was a bard, and the
Yeah.
other one was a blacksmith. So yeah, there were two. So you get these two together, and the kid that was the bard, who I mean, he's not so much a kid anymore. He's been 8 years. Um, he he brings up that there were tales that the Furbolg of Entrada, which was the world that you found them from, came from somewhere else. Some
Okay.
of those tales are and even after spending this long with you guys on Revelation, he admits that they were kind of creation myth ridiculousness, for lack of a
No,
better
man,
term, magic. But then there were others that said that they came from the stars, and
that
that
makes sense. There are as you travel to other planets, sometimes it gets harder and harder to return, and then pretty soon you can no longer return, and the people that were left on that planet lose the technology that they have. I mean, that can definitely
I mean,
happen.
the Imperium and Charted Space have their own history of that. At the end of the Second Imperium, also known as the Rule of Man, which was the very short-lived time period where the Second Imperium was actually ruled by the Soleimani, and it they had no um, they had no concept or ability to run an empire that large. They had just no idea how to do that. And it basically the whole thing fell apart under the weight of their bureaucracy, and that led to what is known as the Long Night. And essentially, all trade, tech advances, everything just stopped. It just fell apart. And there are worlds that have been lost from the Long Night that have not been refound since then with the Third Imperium. And so, I mean, you guys know, and this, I mean, this is distant history of maybe 1,000 years. The Long Night would be kind of like the fall of the Roman Empire.
Right.
a couple thousand years ago, and so you have it's recent enough that you know how that can happen, and so these two are, I mean, with those tales, they are fascinated at the idea of finding um, their lost ancestors or brethren.
Yeah, we might be able to. We'll definitely be keeping our eyes open and hoping that they don't attack. In the meantime, I did want to ask the folks that we rescued whether the EMP seems to be based on radiation. Was this like an atomic blast that they, was it a nuke that they detonated that caused the EMP pulse?
So there was no nuke that went off. They tell you that they're not sure where they got this technology. It may have been something that they salvaged. It could have been something that they were smart enough to kit together themselves. But there was no nuke that was launched or anything like that. There was no explosion. It just all of a sudden there was an EMP pulse and everything went out.
Okay.
And the captain of the TANMIS tells you, he says, unfortunately, because of the nature of how our ships are constructed, shielding against that kind of thing, electromagnetic pulses, that costs extra.
Well, sure. I just was curious if they were using atomics, really was what I was nervous was trying to get at, because if they were willing to attack you, they may be willing to attack us. We're going to be refueling in that system, and so we want to be prepared for whatever we're going to be facing. And so I wanted to know if it was atomics or whether it was an EMP, and I'm happy to hear it's just an EMP. I mean,
right.
Regardless of how they got it, they're not just throwing nukes around.
Right. And so with that, basically the camp they kind of disperse. The crew comes back. There is some integration with some Soleimani crew on Revelation. There are a few that have changed their mind from Revelation. They're going to go back with the Frank Wild.
Okay.
And the Frank Wild sets course and jumps, and Leonard Husey joins Revelation, and you guys are ready to jump, and you are in jump essentially back to the location that you were just at in a week, because Revelation has jump 4.
Jump 4.
Right. And so I think that's where we're going to break for this week, and we will pick this up next. We are playing next week, right?
Next week is the 19th. I'm iffy.
Okay.
But
well, yeah. we can talk throughout the week, and if something happens, we can go ahead and make a decision then.
I'll be around.
Okay.
26th for sure. I'm out.
Yeah. Right. I am just like for Thanksgiving. I'm going to take that entire week off. Obviously, the 24th, my Wednesday night game, that's Christmas Eve, so I'm going to be no go there. And the 26th, I'm just going to take it off. I'm going to enjoy the holiday with friends and family, and we will pick that up. Well, actually, we'll probably be off for 2 weeks, because then there's New Year's. And I'm going to need at least a couple of days to sober up. So yeah, we'll be off for 2 weeks for Christmas and New Year's. But we will see throughout the week and see about picking it up on the 19th. And and that may be our last game for 2025.
All right. Thanks for running.
All right. Thanks for running. It was fun. Thanks.
You're welcome. Have a good night, guys.
Take care.
Night.